to the Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by the Lines and Play Picks, coming to you from Oakland, California. Josh Lander, joined as always by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Pretty big slate tonight on Wednesday night. Another great article from Nate up on playpicks.com with everything you need. We are going to be getting into some of these lines tonight, Nate, but as always, if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those local listings in your area. Including what we've got in store for tonight on March the 3rd, Nate.
Yeah, it's the last big slate before the All-Star break, so just keep that in mind. We have a lot of injury news. Guys could be sitting, guys could be taking it easy as they prepare for that break. That being said, the lines we have, Pacers -6 at the Cavs, the Jazz -3 at Sixers. The Pistons are +7.5 at the Raptors, who will be missing 3 starters tonight due to COVID protocols. The Nets are -9.5 at the struggling Rockets. The Hawks -4 at Magic. Hornets -1 at the Wolves. Bulls +5.5 at Pelicans. Thunder +5.5 at Mavericks. Luka Doncic is questionable. The Warriors are now -2.5 at Blazers. And finally, the Lakers +4 at the Kings. That's a lot to choose from, Josh. So where are you most confident?
Most confident. I don't love today's slate, to be honest with you, but I do like what I'm seeing in the Philly-Utah game. Just a few things that, kind of sparked the thoughts in me came from Utah's game against New Orleans that they recently lost by 5 points. They did make a comeback as they were down by a much larger spread in the fourth quarter at that point. But what I saw there was the ability for Zion and Brandon Ingram to get what they wanted inside the 3-point line and definitely in the paint. You saw 74 points given up in the paint by that Jazz team on Monday. And it seems strange to say with Rudy Gobert standing in the middle for that Jazz team, who is very, very good defensively. But the way to score against them apparently is get into the paint. They guard the 3 as well as anybody in the league. And they do want to run you off that line into Rudy Gobert, who did manage 5 blocks against the Pellies. But as we said, those 74 points in the paint for the Pelicans were way too many to be able to beat them. And the Jazz are, in the bottom 10 in points in the paint given up in the league this year, which is a somewhat surprising stat. So I know that they cover well, but this is Philly at home. They're 7-2 against the spread versus winning teams at home with a plus-minus of 50. So really, they obviously do really well. I am watching to see if Tobias Harris comes back. They have a +6. They're +6 points better net rating when Tobias Harris is on the floor, when he's available to play versus when he's not in those games. So I think he could be someone else to be able to get inside and score just like Embiid. So I'm feeling comfortable with, +3 there for the 76ers. But, if you do look to tease that up by about 4 points or so, I'd feel very, very safe with +7.5 Philly at home.
Yeah, I mean, they are pretty bad stopping guys who can drive in the paint. Like we saw Simmons go for 42 in the recent meeting between these teams. Embiid missed that game. So that'll be an interesting angle. Embiid does not have good numbers head-to-head against Rudy Gobert. He's averaging less than 20 points per game in 6 meetings. I do think they can stop guys like that. So the Sixers, they'll need Tobias Harris to play. They'll need to kind of defer from Embiid, who's posting that monster usage rate this year, if they want to win this game. I don't necessarily trust that to happen. I do like the Jazz, who have covered in 15 of their last 16 against the East, 6 of their last 7 against winning teams, and they're 6-1 straight up after a loss. I think that they're just too much depth there for the Sixers, that they just play the game the right way. They have so many weapons offensively, and they're going to be looking to make a statement before the break. I think you can bet now and hope that Tobias just sits with that break looming, and I don't think the Sixers can win this game without him.
Well, I'll also say that, Embiid is 4-2 in those games against Rudy. And I'm actually willing to bet you my NBA Top Shot card tonight that the 76ers do, in fact, win that game against the Jazz. That is a D'Angelo Russell, pretty nice card there if you're interested.
All right, I'll take it. I'll put up some collateral against that. I mean, I guess we'll circle back after the injury news, but
yep.
Speaking of injuries, the shorthanded Hornets still probably missing Gordon Hayward and Cody Zeller tonight. That's going to make it tough for them to guard Karl Anthony Towns, who has been eating in their recent matchups. averaging 28 and 13 his last 4 against the Hornets. The key trend I'm looking for here, though, right, is LaMelo Ball getting the keys to the Hornets offense, which has really taken off in terms of their scoring, but it's also destroyed their defense. The man doesn't play. He plays that Matador D. He has a 111 individual defensive rating. He's putting up numbers, 20 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, shooting 41% from 3. But the Hornets have gone over in 8 of their last 9. They're allowing a league-high 46% shooting from 3 in their last 5 and 54% from the field. They are the 27th rated defense on the road. Obviously, we know the Wolves don't guard very well either. They're giving up 129 points per game in their last 4. They've lost 8 straight, and they're giving up the second most free throw attempts in that span. So I love this game to go over. I am not the only one since we started writing for this show. It's gone up from 229 to 232. So as I put in the article, if it hits 235 or 234, I might back off and instead look at taking the Hornets to win. That it's about a toss-up spread, but as it stands right now, love the over in this game.
Yeah, Charlotte's one of my favorite League Pass teams this year. Honestly, I'm really enjoying watching them. Obviously, LaMelo makes them fun, and Scary Terry is pulling up from everywhere and hitting. So I do like the over. I really wanted to take that over against Portland as well. I didn't feel quite as comfortable on their second night of a back-to-back. But with that extra day's rest against a putrid defensive team as well in Minnesota, I'm happy to consider that over. Yeah, if it continues to rise like that, I'll stay away as well. But the last game that I kind of wanted to talk about, Nate, that I feel comfortable about is those Golden State Warriors playing in Portland against Dame. It's a wacky series. It's always fun to watch those two stars go at it between Lillard and Steph. But recently, I do see some things in Portland that make me like them. And it's mostly what, Golden State is not doing right now. Really, I like a lot of points here. And that's where I want to start, is the fact that when Portland scores at least 112 points, they are 18-2 this year. When Golden State gives up that amount of points, 112, they're 6-11. So for some reason, Golden State doesn't seem to be closing those high scoring games as well. And Portland is, and really it's also about just sort of the matchup in terms of Golden State not being able to D up on the road. Portland doesn't really need to play D to win, as they've proven in the streak that they've had since they've been pretty good since Nurkic has gone out. So I'm looking at them to be able to cover a really small spread at home and be able to take advantage of a Golden State team that right now is just not looking like itself on defense.
Yeah, the Blazers are actually underdogs at home, which I think the folks at 538 disagree with. So that's always a good opportunity to find some value. And as you mentioned, yeah, Dame has thrived in this matchup. He's averaging 39 points per game on 45% three-point shooting. His last 5 against the Dubs. There's some tasty props to take for Damian Lillard against the Warriors team that's 25th in three-point defense on the road. And I love that stat you brought up because, yeah, when it rains, it pours for the Blazers. And so I think, yeah, maybe parlay the Blazers and the over if you like that trend. Speaking of player props, I love me some Zion props tonight. The man is getting the keys to the offense for the Pelicans. We are looking at Point Zion, an unstoppable force that has, continued their offensive rise. They're the number 1 offensive team in their last 10. It's strength meets strength because the Bulls actually, in their last 4 road games, are 3-1 and giving up a league low 104. So this total at 239, I would actually go under if taking it, but I don't feel confident about that at all, the way these Pelicans play. What I do feel confident about is Zion getting over 40 points, rebounds, and assists. He's averaging 43 combined over his last 5 games. And I love him scoring at least 25 points in a win. That gets you plus 114 at FanDuel. You look at recent games against the Bulls, since Zion went for 29 on 12 of 18 shooting last month, the Bulls have given up 25 and 15 to Sabonis. They gave up a 50 and 17 to Embiid. They gave up 26 to Marvin Bagley, who is definitely a poor man's Zion. And then in their last game, 39 to Jokic. They just have no interior defense. They're giving up the most points per game over their last 3 in the paint and 4th most paint points on the season. So Zion going to get his.
Yeah, agreed. One more prop that I'll throw at you is Kelly Oubre Jr. playing really well for the Warriors right now, going up against a really bad defensive team in Portland. His point total is only at 17 and a half. He's averaging 22 in his last seven. And so I'm really looking for him. And I'm going to be pounding Zion's stats continually until he shows me that he's not capable of continuing to shoot almost 70% from the field. So love that.
Yeah, Oubre getting a little expensive in DFS, not necessarily one of my prime plays, but I do obviously like a Zion, Zach LaVine stack, some cheaper Bulls in that, Kobe White or Thaddeus Young. Mentioned that narrative with LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards going head to head tonight. Both have some draft day motivation to derive from. That Raptors game, you're going to find a lot of value with Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and OG out. I'm looking at Powell, Boucher, and even Terrence Davis as a punt play. Dennis Smith on the other end has passed Saban Lee in the Pistons depth chart. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Ty. Send it in, Jerome, at 3.6K on FanDuel. He's played 51 minutes in his first two games for the Thunder, who are playing for the future, will definitely let the rookie spin. And that is a great value right there.
Deep cut with the Jerome mention there. Love it. Nate, that's all the time we have for today. We are going to be back tomorrow and then on Friday with a special All-Star show. Definitely stick around and come back. We'll probably have some pretty fun All-Star props and gift cards to give away then. So, for now, we'll just be taking a look at tonight with you guys. Stay on everything, jump in those comments, like and subscribe if you like the winners that we have been bringing you so far. And we'll be back tomorrow. So for tonight, happy betting.